Good morning, students. Take your English textbook, Beehive, page number 48. Let's continue with the fourth chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind. Yesterday we had stopped. I am sure you will remember the last sentence what I spoke, what is there in your page number 48. You see, when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, it seemed like 2 minutes. When you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like 2 hours. I hope not only this, but other things also you remember. And you have read up to paragraph number 9, where we stopped with the theory of relativity. You see, he describes the relationship between mass and energy, the equation, mathematical equation E equal to mc squared. Today we shall continue with the paragraph number 10. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Albert had wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. She is a book like you, his mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. You see what has happened. He was solving the most difficult problems in physics. He was interested in physics. Remember, he was he was a genius. But his private life was unraveling. Unraveling one means starting to fall, deteriorating, okay? Because, or he was becoming unhappy, okay? Albert wanted to marry Mileva. Remember, they were friends, they fell in love, and he wanted to marry her immediately after finishing his studies. But his mother was against this marriage. The reason she gave was he was 3 years older than her son. And that means Mileva was older than Einstein, and she thought she was too old for him, and she was bothered about Mileva's intelligence. Remember, Mileva also was equally intelligent like Einstein. And you see what comment she gives. She is a book like you, full time on book, no time for any other things. And so Einstein put the wedding off, means he said, okay. He was a mother's child, you see. He obeyed his mother. His mother said no, and so he said, okay, I will not marry. 11th, the pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons. But a few years later, their marriage faltered. Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. You see, the pair, both of them, Mileva and Einstein, they married in 1903. And they had 2 sons, but marriage started faltering, becoming weak, because they were fighting, constantly fighting was going on. And Mileva was losing her intellectual ambition, that aim, that intellectual aim that she was having. She was losing no interest and becoming unhappy housewife. She was not happy with him, and after years of constant fighting, always fighting, they got divorced in 1919. 1903 they married, and 1919 they got divorced. They were separated, and Einstein married again his cousin Elsa the same year. This cousin Elsa was very much supporting when he was a student. Some other book tells this Elsa was very supportive, and when he was lonely, when he was struggling, Elsa was there for him. And finally they get married. 12th paragraph. Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. In 1915, he had published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which the light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspapers proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution. You see, one side, personal life, new chapter, because he divorced, got married, it's a new chapter, okay? That was coincided. Coincided means together, going hand in hand with his rising to world fame. One side, newly married, another side, he was rising, growing in what? World fame. Fame means famous. He was becoming famous. With what? You see, he published in 1915, he published his general theory of relativity, which was proved to be correct, to be accurate, not correct, accurate. It was a new interpretation of gravity, we call gravitational force, you remember. An eclipse of the sun eclipse, you know, in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. He proved it, and he had correctly calculated in advance, you know, beforehand. He has calculated which the light from fixed stars would be deflected. Deflected means change its direction because it hit something. Deflection, no? Deflected. The which star from fixed stars would be, the light from fixed stars would be deflected because it will hit something through the sun's gravitational field. And the newspapers proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution, something great finding. 13. Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. Lauded by the press, he was praised, he was acclaimed, he was praised, you know. He became famous by the press. 14th, when the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein immigrated to the United States. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Many of them had fled from fascism just as Einstein had, and now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. You see, the chapter or the life of Einstein is moving to a different direction. When Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. Emigrated means he moved. He migrated to United States, US, from Germany. He left Germany. And after 5 years, discovery of nuclear fission is reaction, okay, in Berlin, the American physicists, they were uproar, and they were very upset. The physicians were very much upset. Why? Because many of them had fled from fascism. Fascism means the dictatorial power that Germany and Hitler, you remember? Dictation, just do this, otherwise kill at order. So that is called fascism. They had run away from fascism from Germany because of that, like Einstein. And now they were afraid that Nazis could build and use the atomic bomb. They knew that this Nazis, they are going to build and use atomic bomb. And so they should do something. 15th, next page, open your page, next page. At the urging of a colleague, urging means request of a colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt on 2nd August 1939, in which he warned a single bomb of this type exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. You see, he wrote a letter now because his colleagues, his friends, they pressurized him, they urged him, they requested him, begged him to write a letter to whom? To American President. That time it was Franklin D. Roosevelt. That was 2nd August 1939. He warned the single bomb of this time. He knew, these people, they knew it, that Nazis, they are going to make and drop this bomb which would, he's telling it is so powerful that once it exploded in a port, imagine, it will very well destroy the whole port and as well as surrounding territories, surrounding areas also it will destroy. And it became true. Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki that we know in 1945. That is the Second World War, 1945. And with that, the Second World War come to an end. 2nd August 1939, year 39, the Second World War starts till 1945. What he said, it became true. 16. Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction. This time he wrote a public missive to the United Nations. In it, he proposed the formation of a world government. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. But over the next decade, Einstein got ever more involved in politics, agitating for an end to the arms buildup and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. You see here, Einstein was deeply shaken. He was moved by the extent of the destruction in this Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I am sure in history lessons you come across the destruction that is caused due to this Second World War in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Einstein was shaken. He felt very bad. And now he wrote a public missive. Public missive means a very long and official letter to United Nations, and he suggested to form the world government, and that's why. So people should come together, the leaders should come together and discuss about the world matters. Now this letter made no impact, nothing, no reaction, but over the next decade means after nearly one decade equal to 10 years, remember, Einstein got more involved in politics, not because of his private interest, but he wanted an end to the arms build-up, end to the war. Remember, okay? He did not want for his power. But then he wanted to stop this war, and his popularity and used his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. Clear? 17. When Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. World visionary means a person who can think about the future in an original and intelligent way. You are seeing your future. It's a visionary. He died at the age of 76 and he was considered as world citizen as well as a scientific genius. That is why in your introduction it is there that he was not only famous for his mathematics and physics but also was a humanitarian. Humanitarian means so much love for the humanity. Read the lesson. With this we complete your chapter number 4, A Truly Beautiful Mind. Read it once, twice, try to understand and do your question answers. See here, thinking about the text, you will have to find out the numbers, which paragraph it appears. Okay, one is done for you. Einstein's equation, paragraph number 9. Einstein meets his future wife. Where he meets? First time in paragraph number 7. So like that you find out which paragraph. Making of a violinist, Mileva and Einstein's mother, letter that launched the arms race, desk drawer full of ideas, marriage and divorce. Which paragraph it appears, find out and write. The next one you see here, who had these opinions about Einstein? He was boring. Who had opinion about this? The second paragraph you will find his playmates. The second, he was stupid and would never succeed in life. Who told this? You will find this answer in paragraph number 3. Find out. He was a freak. In paragraph number 1 you will find who said. You have to write out the answer. Find out and write. Okay. Then explain what the reasons for the following are. Why? Reason you have to give. You see, Einstein leaving the school in Munich for good. Why he left this school? Do you remember why he left the school? Because he did not like the discipline of the school. Too much discipline. He hated the school's regimentation and often clashed with the teachers. That's why he left the school for good, forever. Einstein wanting to study in Switzerland rather than in Munich. Same answers because remember, he wanted to continue in German-speaking Switzerland because it was more liberal than in Munich. Third, Einstein seeing in Mileva and LA. LA means same idea, same attitude. Because those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds with. It was not matching with his family members and university. He found that she was a clever creature. Fourth, what do these tell you about Einstein? This all tells that he was a genius and had the capabilities to achieve his own targets. Moreover, he had his own view of life. He liked freedom too much. He didn't want to be controlled by someone else. Then here, what did Einstein call his desk drawer at the patent office and why? Einstein called his desk drawer at the patent office the Bureau of Theoretical Physics, that you will find in the paragraph number 8. Because he was actually developing his own ideas in secret, and his drawer had all the evidences which could reveal the secret, because he was assessing, going through others' inventions. Question number 5. Why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin Roosevelt? That you will find in paragraph number 15. Because of the emergence of Nazis in Germany, Einstein emigrated to United States. It was the fact that Nazis had the ability to develop the atomic bomb. So you will find in paragraph number 14. And it could destroy the whole world, and so he warned Franklin D. Roosevelt in his letter. Then 6. How did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Paragraph number 16 you will find. He was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction and wrote a public missive, that means public letter, long letter, official letter to the United Nations. Why does the world remember, question number 7, Einstein as a world citizen? The world remembers Einstein as a world citizen because he believed in universal peace. When there was the rat race for becoming atomic power, he was worried about the aftermaths of the bomb. What would happen if there was war? He was really a world citizen who was concerned with humanity. Then question number 8, here are some facts from Einstein's life, arrange them in chronological order. What happened first, second, third, fourth, okay? Einstein publishes his special theory of relativity, naturally to come little later on. So you read it and arrange according to the chronological order. Thinking about the language, you see, yes, here the meaning you have to write. A few years later, the marriage faltered. Faltered means failed, broke, became weak. It became weak. Second one is at odds with. Italics it at odds. At odds, whether bad terms or disagreement, unhappy. You know, it was a bad terms, odd, no? So like this you find out from your dictionary the meaning of the italics words. You see here, proclaimed, the declared, praised, showed. Then next is next page number question number 4. You see there. It is agitating. Agitating is campaigning, fighting, supporting. You find out from your dictionary all these italics words. Then you go down, fill in the blanks. You will find there. Fill in the blanks with the ing verbs. You know, ing verbs. These are the participle phrases. Ing verb you have to write. One example you might have done. I will do one example for you. Thus, the refrigerators finally put out the fire. They worked round the clock. You have to write working round the clock. You know, working round the clock. The firefighters finally put out the fire. Second, she watched the sunset above the mountain. She noticed the colors blending softly into one another. So that above the mountain, noticing the colors blending softly into one another. Noticing. Okay, noticing the colors. The excited horse pawed the ground rapidly, dash, while it neighed continually. Neighing continually. Neighing means what? Making noise of the horse is neighing. Okay. So rapidly, comma, then neighing continually. Dash, I found myself in Bangalore instead of Benares. I had taken the wrong train. That means having taken the wrong train. Okay, having taken the wrong train, I found myself in Bangalore instead of Benares. Dash, I was desperate to get to the bathroom. I had not bathed for 2 days. Having not bathed for 2 days, I was desperate to get to the bathroom. The stone steps dash needed to be replaced. They were worn down. The stone steps being worn down needed to be replaced. Being worn down. The actor received hundreds of letters from his fans. Dash. They asked him to send them his photographs. Asking him to send them his photographs. So this much you complete in your notebook and study well and do your work regularly. Thank you, students.